I'm gonna take a player with a 0.7 KD and turn them into a 2+ KD player. Welcome to week 2 of our 8-week bot to pro series. Meet Newbie. His current KD is 0.7 and his current PR is 15. Now I'm a 4.5 KD player and my PR is 48. All of my content is centered around Warzone coaching, helping players improve. Now last week we broke down Newbie's gameplay, really focusing on areas that he needs to improve. Today we begin the journey by focusing on the most important thing, his aim. If you are looking to get better, follow along with each episode. Make sure you are subscribed down below, and who knows, maybe you might just turn into a 2 KD player as well. So week 2, as I mentioned, is all about improving his aim, and we are going to talk a little bit about basic movement today as well. Look, when it comes down to it, I can teach him to have the best movement and the best positioning and the best gameplay strategy, but if he doesn't hit his shots, literally none of it matters. So what is the best way to improve your aim and movement? The best way, hands down, this is something that Warzone pro players do. It's something that I did to become a 4.5 KD player, and honestly, I still do it to this day before I drop in. The best way to improve your aim and movement is going to be MW3 multiplayer private match with bots. Now, before I jump into specifics on how you want to set it up and what exactly you want to be focusing on, I do just want to quickly mention, if you are serious about getting better at Warzone this year and you can afford MW3, it is absolutely worth buying it. This is the best way to go about improving your aim. So now let's jump into actually setting up the private match with bots. And we're going to be going over maps and weapons and settings and everything that you need to know to actually set up your private match. Then from there, we're going into a private match with Newbie. I'm going to be coaching him live in terms of things that he needs to be focusing on and things that he needs to be improving on and how he can use it to get better aim. Now, once we're in a private match here, first things first, in terms of your weapon is totally up to you. I've never once used an AR. I always use an SMG. I generally use a very easy to use SMG. The goal here is not to get better at controlling high recoil guns. The goal here is to learn how to be precise with that right stick and make little adjustments when you are missing. We'll talk a little bit more about that in game. So you can use the gun that you're going to be dropping in with, or you can just set up a very easy to use gun and focus on that right stick. Now, first up, let's talk about game mode. Game mode is very simple, guys. Make sure you adjust this first when you click game setup. Change your game mode first. If you do your settings first and then change your game mode, it's going to revert all of your settings back, and then you're going to have to back out because you're going to be in game. So you've got free-for-all game mode. In terms of your map, 3 very simple options here. I personally prefer Rust, Scrapyard, or Shipment. My personal favorite is Scrapyard. If you want to get into a ton of engagements, you can do Shipment, or you can do Rust if you want to switch it up a little bit. But Scrapyard is hands down my favorite, just because it allows me to kind of play my corners and focus on my anticipation. Next up here, let's go ahead and jump into game rules. Time limit, I just always bump this thing all the way up to 45 minutes. This way I never run out of time. Score limit is going to be dependent on how much time you have. Don't be afraid to just, set this at 100 and then shoot 100 bots. You can set this thing at 200 and go all the way up that way. Any little bit is going to help us out. Match start time, put this to 5 seconds. This just actually gets us in game quicker and kind of skips that initial scene. When we look at player here, first thing is going to be max health. Max health we want at either 250 or 300. I feel like based on the private match, 250 feels like the TTK of Warzone, but if you want to go to 300, you absolutely can do this. So either 250 or 300 here, and everything else we're going to keep the same. I'm not going to enable armor. I know a lot of people are going to ask me about this. Guys, I don't want to make this too difficult. Keep this as simple as possible. I want to shoot as many people as possible with BR type health, that 250 to 300 range. Now, next up here, and by the way, when we look at max health, keep in mind that multiplayer damage values for the weapons are significantly less than Warzone. They're different. So that's why, 250 here might be the right move in terms of TTK. Next up here, let's go down. Let's talk about enable minimap here. This is totally up to you. I keep this very simple. If you are somebody who finds yourself staring at the minimap and you're not paying attention to what's going on in front of you, then you want to go ahead and turn this off. I want you to get used to anticipating where people are going to be, centering your crosshairs around corners. If you are somebody who never uses the minimap and you need to work on it, I want you to turn this on and really use that to your advantage. Everything else here is going to stay the same. Now, next up, let's go to gameplay. We're going to spawn ammo mags max. This is just just a little thing so that you don't run out of ammo. We're going to scroll down here, turn kill streaks off, so this way we don't have to worry about kill streaks popping up. Again, I want to keep this as simple as possible. Keep your perks on, this way you get used to things like double time and using that to your advantage, as well as some other perks. And then from here, everything else should be pretty much the same. I think we're going to keep this very simple. If you really want to work on things in particular, you can do things like headshots only, where you're only hitting headshots and aiming there. The problem with headshots only here is it's almost an insta kill. So you're not actually getting the repetition of having to be precise with the right stick. What you're doing is getting used to hitting that initial headshot. So that's a variation that we absolutely can do. So from here, we're all set up, ready to go. Now we're just going to go ahead and wait, one more thing. We got one more thing. We got to add our bots in. In terms of how many bots, the good news is we have a max number of 11. Let's talk about difficulty here real quick. You have recruit, regular, hardened, or veteran. This is totally up to you in terms of the practice. I would go either recruit or regular. Again, the goal here is not to like super sweat in a warm-up. The goal here is to learn to be precise with the right stick. Make those little adjustments. Get used to strafing, which we're going to be talking about in-game. So generally speaking, I go regular unless I really just want to focus on getting my shot feeling smooth, and I'll go recruit. Just shoot straight. That's all you need to do. Bots depends on the map size. Shipment 11 is going to be too much, but for something like Scrapyard, 11 works perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and drop in with newbie here. Okay, so now we are in game here, and I have this set up as team deathmatch just because it's the only game mode that allows me to do this codcaster where I can actually spectate newbie. So newbie and I are in Discord together, and we're just going to be talking throughout this. Now look, the whole goal of this is to be precise with the right stick. So newbie, first thing that I want you to do here, I can tell you right now, you have nobody around you. I want you to go into your settings, and I want you to turn you're going to end up dying here probably, but that's fine. Turn your ADS sensitivity multiplier up to like 1.5. And what this is going to do is it is going to make it very fast when you are aimed down sight. So the whole goal of this is to... yeah, you can see just how quick it's going to be. The whole goal of this is to really get precise with that right stick. Learn how to make those little adjustments. And I want you to take this bigger than just shooting bots. I want you to think about how that right stick actually feels. You're going to die. It's okay. You know, it's going to happen because this is all part of really helping you improve your aim. So like I said, guys, to newbie, like really focus on how it feels to make that little adjustment. This is going to be tough, but it's how we start to break that habit of you overcorrecting. He is slide canceling, which is something that we are going to be talking about it. And by the way, we have 150 points here, 150 kills that we're playing with. So we're going to do 65 of ADS multiplier up. You can see it right there. He's starting to get the feel for it. And one of the biggest things that I want you to work on here, newbie, is not only horizontal, but vertical as well. Really being precise with that vertical, allowing that, kind of feeling that recoil, essentially, and letting it hit, letting yourself hit headshots. So like I said, guys, we can see where the enemies are. He can't. So you see the centering and anticipation. Let's talk about movement now. You see him slide canceling around corners. This is a big thing that will allow you to start to center and anticipate better, being prepared, getting those crosshairs out. I will leave you actually a full slide cancel guide down in the comments below. I kind of did a whole entire video just on slide canceling, how we do it. And by the way, newbie, in terms of slide canceling, what buttons are you using right now? Are you still slide canceling like Warzone 1?
It's R3 for slide, and then
are you going slide jump? So are you going R3 and then jump, or are you just going straight slide jump?
Just
straight.
It's R3 is one tap to slide, and then L1 is just once to jump.
Okay, so you're just going straight slide jump.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so slide jump is going to allow it to feel... Yes, straight slide jump is going to allow it to feel much more fluid. So if you slide cancel around this corner straight ahead of you on this guy, slide jump, you see how your crosshairs kind of get out a little bit quicker, your gun comes out a little bit quicker? Yep. In Warzone 1, it was slide jump, but they kind of removed that middle step that we have to do. So that's just going to allow us to center around corners, be prepared, and make sure we're anticipating high. Really be careful with that vertical right here. I want you to really focus on those high damage areas, hitting headshots and stuff. And look, this is part 1 here. Part 1 is going to be this ADS multiplier up to 1.5. At times, it might feel a little bit slow. You can see him still missing those low damage areas. This is going to take practice, guys. But this is going to be what allows us to start to mix in those high damage areas and also track people, right? This is where I mentioned in the warm-up or when I was doing settings that I've never trained long-range aim. Simply because what I'm able to do is by doing this, I get a feel for what it feels like to make those really small adjustments. Those small adjustments that will allow us to hit headshots. Yep, go ahead, use your slide canceling to get away. These are all little things that we can do to start to, you know, be able to finesse a little bit more, make sure our slide canceling feels really fluid. Some other things that I really want him to focus on, really want you to focus on that left and right strafing. I know you're doing it well right now, so keep working on that. That's just going to increase our rotational aim assist, guys. Right. Basically, there's 3 levels of aim assist. There's just normal aim assist when you're aiming. The second level is going to be like you're rotating, strafing left and right. That's going to increase your rotational aim assist. So as you're strafing left, your crosshairs are going to pull with that enemy a little bit. That's going to start to increase your aim assist. By the way, in terms of this, because he's in team deathmatch, it is a little bit tougher because all 6 of them are kind of looking for him. Free for all, it is literally just a free for all. And then the third level of rotational aim assist is you are strafing while the enemy is moving. Go ahead and challenge around that corner. So now what I want to go ahead and do here, and we're going to kind of keep challenging around here. Let's see how he slide cancels. Which way does he go? Slide cancel that way. Now he's got 1 straight ahead and 1 back behind him. And we can start to use movement. We can mix in drop shots. It's not super crucial when you're first starting off to kind of be mixing in things like drop shots and jumping. But as you get going and as you progress more and more, yeah, really mix in that full movement arsenal in terms of using that movement to take less damage. We're still seeing good centering here. He's anticipating enemies. And by the way, just to kind of show you what it looks like on his end here, because it's a little bit easier when we have the X-ray. This is what it kind of looks like on his end. He's going to really see we're not dealing with any of the X-ray at this moment. So he's got people down below. Good shots right there, being precise with that right stick. Got people straight ahead. And in terms of how often we do this, let's talk about this as well. Kind of 4 scenarios. Good shot right there with the drop shot. Quick reload. Really want him to work on those dead slides. Just really kind of work on those dead slides a little bit. Be a little bit more careful. Good strafing right there. Good high damage areas. You can see how much even already his aim has changed. And doing this every single day, which is what I kind of want to talk about next, is how often should we be doing this? It's kind of 4 things that I say. Number 1 is try to do it every day if you can. You know, every day, shoot 150 bots. That's going to really be where you see the most amount of dividends. Good strafing right there. We start to see him mixing in more high damage areas here. More chest shots, more neck shots, more headshots. You see that him let that recoil. A little bit unfortunate there in terms of not shooting that guy fully. But let's get to 30 here and then we'll switch it up. So we're going to get to 30 here and then we'll kind of switch up what we're doing. So, you know, every single day if you can. Next up is going to be, you know, maybe you don't have every day, maybe 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, right? You're able to hop on for 10 minutes. Great. Do it and then hop off. I used to do that all the time because I started playing during the pandemic. So I would hop on for a little bit, then, you know, have to get back to work and I'd hop right off. Now, you should definitely be doing this every day before you drop in. This is the most important one here because think about how many times, think about this. The first game that you get on is generally going to be the best lobby that you have because, you know, skill-based matchmaking hasn't cranked in yet. So take advantage of that. Make sure you are warm when you go in and you're feeling good and you're not wasting that first lobby. The other one that I will say, speaking of skill-based matchmaking, rough nights with SBMM. SBMM's cranked. Every lobby is sweaty. Every lobby is stacky. You're getting really frustrated. Hop off of BR, hop off of Warzone, hop into here, just do some aim training. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You know, the more bots you shoot, the better off you're going to be. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to flip X-ray back on here and let's go see where some people are. Okay, so we got 1 more kill here and then we're going to go ahead and change up settings right here. Okay, so now I want you to bring your ADS multiplier. If you die while you're doing this, that's totally fine. I want you to bring your ADS multiplier back down to normal to what it was before. Out of curiosity, what is your sensitivity in ADS multiplier?
I have my sensitivity both at 6 and then ADS multiplier at 0.9.
Okay, that's perfect. So keep those there. And now is going to be the toughest one, which is really for advanced people, but I'm going to put you on the spotlight in a YouTube video. I want you to turn that aim assist off. This is going to suck. This is going to be very difficult. But let's try it out and see what we can do. The one thing I would never recommend is do not do ADS multiplier up and aim assist off. That's a little bit crazy. Do one or the other. And look, when it comes down to no aim assist, the biggest thing that we're getting here is this is straight horizontal. This is no assistance. Now, the one reason I tell you not to do this is not my favorite. I love the ADS multiplier, and here's why. When we are turning aim assist off, this is straight horizontal. This is straight being precise with the right stick, but it does not affect your vertical at all. So you're not practicing hitting high damage areas. So if I were to look at this, how you use this in terms of improving, go in, I want you to crank that ADS multiplier. 1.4, don't you love when they take advantage of the COD features? Now you know some developer was like, nah, we got to make the bots mantle. They have to know how to mantle. We spent so much time on this feature. So in terms of how we use this to improve, I want you to crank that ADS multiplier up. Really start to get precise with that right stick. Get a good good headshots right there. Get a good feel for it, and then from there we can turn that ADS multiplier back down. Turn that aim assist off, and now we have a sense of how to hit high damage areas. You can see him mixing in high damage areas still a little bit at times, especially at that mid-range, a little bit all over the place. I will also say, just for the record, these are regular bots. So these, we had recruit, they were just way too easy. So regular seems to be a good mix. I know they've had issues with bots in the past in terms of their actual skill level, but good shots right there. You see him already becoming better at hitting those high damage areas. Now, we're going to get to 50 right here, unless it takes too long, and then we're going to go into the final variation of this, which is just your normal settings. Good shots right there. He's got another one straight ahead. Good strafing. And keep in mind, one thing that I really want you to keep in mind here when it comes to improving is when you're strafing, yes, you want to be strafing here, but technically no aim assist. So really good job just tracking these guys. I know you're missing a few shots in there, but as long as we're maintaining that vertical level and as long as we are still executing and kind of mixing in good shots and getting those hit markers, look, we're going to absolutely take that. And I want you to keep working on movement, right? Keep working on that slide canceling, making it super fluid. We're going to die. That's okay. Whole goal here is just to keep working on aim. Let's get a few more here, and then we're going into the final variation. Let's go ahead and go back here. Let's go ahead and go back to no. Okay, let's go ahead and flip back to newbie here. Where's our friend newbie? Come on, give me. There's newbie. Let's go ahead and flip back to no X-ray and kind of see what it looks like with anticipation and centering. This is where I want to see him fly around corners. Yep. Good job playing his cover right there. And that's a realistic situation, right? That's a realistic situation. Sliding behind that truck, playing that head glitch. And look, the shots aren't the best because aim assist is off. That is A-okay. Want you to really focus on slide canceling right now. Want you to be centering around corners, anticipating people, and kind of anticipating with intent. This is another big thing that I haven't talked about yet kind of in that first episode, but when we talk about anticipation, and we will continue to talk about this through the entire series, we have no anticipation at all. Basically, you're just running around, and if you run into somebody, you start shooting them. That's really what it comes down to. Then we have just normal anticipation, which is you're running around here. He's reacting to what he's seeing. He's centering his crosshairs. He's got his crosshairs out around corners, but he's not necessarily expecting enemies to be there. You can see him kind of checking. Then we have full anticipation with intent. Good strafing back to cover right here. Yeah, good slide cancel. And of course, that's another big one. I really like to see you, I really like seeing you work in there, was the hip firing, right? Hip firing before we ADS and getting used to that. Let's go ahead, newbie. Let's go normal settings here. Keep your ADS multiplier where it is. Let's go ahead and keep that aim assist turned on, or turn it back on here. And let's just go ahead and get a feel for it. Everything else still applies here. Still focusing on high damage areas. Still focusing on slide canceling around corners with intent here, really focusing on that strafing as well. And all of these things, like I said, are going to really help him with that long-range aim as well. And, as I mentioned in the beginning, focus less on actually shooting the bots, and I really want you to feel how that right stick feels when you're making that adjustment. When you're making that a little adjustment to be able to hit that headshot, to be able to manipulate that recoil. What does that feel like on the right stick? And that's how we start to really take our aim to another level. Let's go ahead and turn the X-ray back on here so we can kind of see where he's looking and if there's anybody around as he anticipates. So everybody's on the other side here. He's got some people to his right side, and you can see him centering around corners. He's centering really well, both horizontally and vertically. Good shots right there. I mean, you can already see the difference in only, guys, I don't know what we're at here. What, 13 minutes here we're into this. And you can already see what a big difference this has made. Now, imagine you start doing this every day for 10 minutes. Every day for 15 minutes. Imagine the level that you can take your aim. And like I said in the beginning, guys, this is one where pro players are absolutely still doing this. Pro players do this every day before warming up. Now, where you can really start to take it to another level is find some friends and implement that as well into your warm-up, where they are slide canceling around. They're trying to break your camera. They're moving on you. Good shots right there. You can see the high damage areas consistently. So, guys, overall, that is going to be our warm-up with our aim video. Make sure you are subscribed down below if you are looking to get better. I'm super, super excited about this series. I know Newbie is as well. Next week, I don't know what we're going into just yet. It depends on the playlist. I've got some ideas for you. Make sure you are subscribed down below to follow along. And as I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.